colleague is Angela Crum, and we're coming from Feeling Good Institute. Let me actually just start by asking you guys, how many of you are therapists or work with patients? Okay, fantastic. And how many of you are educators but not therapists?
Volunteer.
Okay, you volunteer. Oh, fantastic. Working with patients or around patients?
Yeah, at the old age home.
At the old age home.
Yes.
Okay, great. Perfect, because a lot of what we're going to be talking about is very clinical, and we're talking about this model of therapy that's called Team CBT, and so it sounds like you're all here to sort of learn about it and see if it might be useful to you. I'm just going to start by telling you just sort of my story and how I came to this therapy, and Angela will share hers as well, and then we'll kind of break down the model of therapy and talk to you about the different aspects of the therapy, different things that go into this. I was trained, I grew up outside of New York City, in New York, in the United States, and I went to graduate school and I was trained in cognitive behavioral therapy by a lot of different kind of experts in the field in what's called CBT, or cognitive behavioral therapy, which is a really effective type of therapy for treating anxiety and depression and other kinds of problems. And then about 11 years ago, I moved from the East Coast, New York, to the West Coast, California, and I looked up Dr. David Burns because I knew that he was kind of a CBT master, and I ended up joining his training group, and it turned out that I learned that the type of cognitive behavioral therapy that he practices, which is called Team CBT, was very similar to the CBT that I was trained in, but it had extra components, extra parts of it that seemed to make it even more effective. So for me, it was really exciting because I felt that I was already really well trained in cognitive behavioral therapy, and then I discovered there were these other things that I could bring to my work, focusing on empathy and the relationship, and focusing on resistance in therapy, that made my work with my patients even more effective. And as soon as I met him and started this training, I got really excited, and I started to do that work myself with my patients, and then I got excited also about starting to train other therapists and kind of spread this therapy. So Angela will tell you how she came to this model of therapy as well, and then we'll tell you what it is.
Yeah, it's good to be here with you all today. Thank you for having us. I had a somewhat different story than Jill. I was trained as a therapist in a program that focused a lot on actually training us to do more research. And so I didn't feel like a very good counselor when I came out of school. I wasn't quite sure how to be helpful to people. So I thought I had good training in empathy or understanding, good skills at listening and being kind and welcoming. And I also felt like I had good training in understanding people's problems. I could think about why they were suffering or why they were struggling and understand the source of the problem. But where I felt what was missing was then what do I do to help? Other than listening and providing support, I didn't have a lot of skills to actually help people make change in their life. So much of the therapy I was doing was listen, support, but I didn't see people really getting better. They'd come back week to week and get support, but not really create a lot of change. So one day I was in a new training experience at an agency, actually at Stanford, at the university up in California, and an email came through that said, if you'd like to come to a free talk on a Tuesday night, David Burns will talk with you about his method of therapy. And I looked on my shelf and I said, David Burns, that's the guy who wrote this book on my shelf. And it was a book that I would often give to clients. It was called Feeling Good, the New Mood Therapy. And it's actually translated into Spanish. Do you have Spanish copies of it here?
We have it. We have 3 at the library, so
very good book.
Bien.
Yeah, so I had given that to clients before, and I got, I should go listen to this author. It's a special opportunity. And so I, went over, and at the end of the talk, he said at the end, well, come back if you want to learn more. And I can come back and learn more. I just felt so honored and excited. And that was 15 years later that now here I sit training other people in these methods, because it just changed my life, and literally my whole life, because it not only helped me to be more effective with clients, but it also helped me be more effective in my personal life. I learned skills for myself and for my relationships that made a huge impact. And I found a sense of community with the other people who were learning this model. And that's one thing that I think is most special about the community of folks who pursue this type of therapy, is that they believe in community and connection with each other and supporting each other. And not just, Yehuda has done an amazing job here at the university. You can talk with Sara about her experience in his training class. But we got to visit them last night, and it was amazing to see the love in that class. And the Bezos were like everywhere, hugs and sweetness and connection. So it was a powerful story for me that brought me to training other people. So we're excited today to tell you more about the model. And I would be so excited if some of you fell in love with it as well. That would be wonderful. So.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit